All right, kia ora, my fact hunters. Today we're going to be getting a little bit steamy, a little bit damp. Tonight we're going to be looking for facts about hot pools.
Oh my god.
Come back in 30 minutes. Kia ora, everyone, and welcome to Big Fact Hunt, the game show or pod show where we get my big fact hunters here to find big facts about a topic of my choosing, and my topic of my choosing tonight was hot pools. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Jennifer Jewell, I would like to have your fact about hot pools.
Where would I go for a delicious health-giving drink of sulfate, chlorine, uranium, and rubidium?
My garage, actually. I've got quite a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
Would this
it's
be
being an
Bath?
answer. It is Bath Spa,
Your hometown, Jen.
my hometown. I was
Mhm.
born just outside it. I spent the first couple of years living there, drinking the waters. Not drinking the waters, they're not free.
Was it a water birth?
No, it wasn't. I don't think so. They didn't have water births in 1984. Kenny, don't be silly.
It was a sky birth. They launched her into the sky like a bird.
They had water beds in 1984 for sure. So, you know, a water bed conception followed
Oh.
by a water bath delivery would be quite opposite.
That's how Michael Phelps was born. True story.
Mm.
The waters at Bath Spa have been renowned for centuries, millennia actually, literally, for their healing properties. And according to the most recent chemical composition analysis, those healing properties include 1,030 milligrams per litre of sulfate, and then a combination of about 30 other elements, including calcium, chlorine, and sodium, and trace amounts of uranium and rubidium.
Nice. And some oxygen and hydrogen.
Yeah.
What I really love there, though, is that you've used the phrase bath spa, which is kind of like chai tea or naan bread.
Well, what I really like is that the original name that the Romans had for it was Aquae Sulis, which I always thought was named after one of the Roman consuls, who's Sulla. But no, it's because the Britons already had a shrine there for the goddess Sulis, and the Romans just turned up and went, "Oh yeah, we'll nick that." And then the British came along and were like, "Bath. There's this beautiful name," and they were like, "Water,
Bath.
done."
Samuel Smith.
Hello. All right. I'm going to tell you about Waiwera, which is in New Zealand. It is a famous hot pool here. It was bought by a Russian billionaire. He went to a restaurant and got given some bottled Waiwera water. He drank it, was like, "That is delicious. I'm going to buy Waiwera, the company," which came with it Waiwera hot pools, which were the best hot pools in New Zealand, as well as the water company. He was more interested in the water company, also built the hot pools, just left them to just rot, basically. So now they're not open. He then later got charged for drink driving, despite drinking water at this restaurant, and had to leave the country. So he just left Waiwera hot pools, and they went into liquidation, which I thought was great. But then, one more thing, he died this year, so that's good.
Aw.
Oh, no, he
I
was
just
a
need to
creep.
point
He
out-
ruined Waiwera hot pools.
Oh yeah, no,
So,
no.
but-
I just need to point out there's a cat in the background and it's distracting because it's very cute.
Is vodka Russian for water? Like, maybe he just
Oh, yeah.
got things mixed up.
Like how whiskey means water of life.
He was using the water to make vodka, I think. Or some
I'm also
sort
really
of...
confused about this water is delicious, because isn't the whole point of mineral water that it doesn't really taste of anything? Like the mineral
now,
water in Bath.
minerals make it taste.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Here's a fun one. Humans can taste water, but not many animals can, but cats can.
A cat
Yeah, they're
scan.
picky.
Cat scan.
Cat
Cat
scan.
scan. That's how they figured it out. They cat scanned a cat.
Mm.
In fact, the cat scanned.
Very good.
Anyway.
Some animals can smell water, or
Yeah.
at least smell
Yeah.
things that are found around water.
And lots of them can drink it.
Almost all of them.
Whenever you see pictures of Waiwera now, because they every now and again they do like Auckland's abandoned hot pools, they are very liquidated because a lot of the ground has sunk, and so there's constant like puddles everywhere of just standing water. The water is everywhere except in the pools where it's meant to be.
Nathan Kenny.
So
Hot pools.
for my first fact, so Jen delved into ancient hot pools and springs and all that sort of thing. I'd like to take you back even further to your great grandparents who discovered sous vide. So you might have heard of Olduvai Gorge in Tanzania, where a lot of the earliest hominid skeletons come from. So,
Sorry, are you implying that my great grandparents are the earliest hominids? Because I feel like you've missed 3 or 4 generations.
That's only like 200 years ago.
It's just a sick burn on you, Jen.
Yeah. Anyway, so
My people are Irish. We get pregnant at 17. How dare you?
Can we get off Jen's sexual productivities
We
for a
stop
second,
talking about
please?
Jen's
Never.
whole family.
And I'd like to talk about sous vide. So they were digging for hominid remains and all that sort of thing, and they found the remains. So it's easy to tell where hot pools used to be because there's the nice layers of dirt, and you can tell the bacteria that have been there. And they also found animal bones, and they found plant sort of byproducts and all that sort of thing, and they've been able to delve into it. And it's just like the remains of cooking sites. 1.7 million years ago, ancient hominids were cooking using hot water in hot springs in Olduvai Gorge.
That's awesome.
That's pretty
That's
cool.
so cool.
I hope they did chicken. Chicken tastes so good boiled.
I hope they did butter chicken. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sam with the Jewel. Sam Smith. Give me a fact.
Okay, so I'm keeping things with New Zealand again, and I was reading about like extremophiles. So those sound like terrorists, but no, I'm talking about like bacteria. So those are the things that like to live in temperatures above 40 degrees. And then there are other things called acidophiles, which are like to live in acids, like battery acid level kind of acid things. We know about that. Anyway, they think that though a combination of these extremophiles and acidophiles and bacteria that live in hot water and acidic conditions, they release stuff called sinter, which they believe is what left all the stuff that became the pink and white terraces.
No way.
Oh.
So it's these bacteria that left all these colorful bits and stuff that we then had in New Zealand, was this big tourist attraction that people used to go to and love. But then Boomtown, Taupo erupted. Goodbye, pink and white terraces. I like that the pink and white terraces are the same color as marshmallows. That's yum.
Oh, that is
Yeah,
yum.
ironically, they're really hard, but they look soft and squishy.
Yeah, delicious.
Kenny, another fact from you, sir.
Have you heard of hot seeps and cold seeps at the bottom of the ocean where animals live and for miles and miles around them, there's absolutely nothing. And then there'll just be a hot spring. And at that hot spring, you'll get hordes of life. So you get
They're like
vegetarian
oases.
worms, you get these crabs that live they're called yeti crabs. They grow bacteria on their claws and then they eat the bacteria, and you get sponges and all sorts of other things.
Like
live down there.
SpongeBob.
And life may have come from these things. There's a theory that the first life, because there's all this energy there, all this stuff coming up from there, that these were the places where the very first forms of life came into being.
Incredible.
Deep down at the bottom of the ocean, miles and miles down, miles from anywhere, are these little pockets of life.
I reckon there were probably some life started in some of the Wairera hot pools as well, if you know what I say.
Yeah.
People banging and having children, that's what I meant.
And some life left over, if you know what I'm saying.
That was jizz, eh? Were you saying jizz? That's
I was
jizz.
saying
Yeah.
jizz.
Is that the white
Just
bit of
jizz.
pink and white terraces?
Yeah.
Jen.
Do you know how fast the fastest hot tub in the world goes?
Oh, I want to guess this.
Oh,
I reckon it's the hot tub time machine.
That
So
only moves
backwards.
through time. It doesn't move through space.
I don't think that's true, because I think in the hot
I
tub
haven't
time
seen the
machine,
film.
it's really good. It stars John Cusack.
No, it's not the hot tub time machine. Although, in a way, it is.
So a point to me, thanks, Tom.
It's a very modern creation. It was certified by the Guinness World Record as the fastest hot tub in the world in 2015, I believe. But it is a 1969 Cadillac DeVille,
Nice.
which has been modified into the world's fastest hot tub. It's a fully functional car. It drives. It's probably not roadworthy, but you could drive it. And the makers have called it the Carpool DeVille.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's
So
good.
it
That's
would
very
be-
good.
It would be difficult to drive it though, because you'd flood the engine.
Hey.
The turn signals now control the Spa jets, so it's not great. I really
That's
wanted
great.
to find out if you can hire those hot tub limo things that you sometimes see in TV shows. But if you try and Google it in New Zealand, you just get lots of ads for like car valet services. And they were like,
Oh,
car
yeah.
spa. And I'm like, that's not what I want.
I always think about that episode of The Simpsons where they have the pool on the back of the truck, and when they
Yeah.
pull in and they brake, just all the water rushes into the cab of the car.
Yeah, there's an IRL version of that that's been going around my Facebook feed recently. And it's guys pulling up to like a McDonald's or a Wendy's drive-through. And the person, they take off from the drive-through window and everyone's like, "Whoa, this is amazing." It's two guys sitting in the back of like just a ute basically. And they take off and then the guy slams on the brakes. And so they go humph, 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 and all the water comes out. It's amazing. It's very fun.
Kenny, can I have a fact from you?
So you've probably heard of the Japanese macaques that love hot springs, but have you heard of the capybaras that love hot springs in Japan?
It's
They're
so
not
cute.
native. They're not native.
They're not native, but so
But they're
back
so
in the
relaxed.
90s, Japanese zoo cleaners discovered as they were scrubbing down the enclosures of these capybaras in the middle of winter that the capybaras loved the little pools of warm water that would fall. So they decided to set up these little pools. So nowadays, in lots and lots of zoos all over Japan, you can go and see capybara lazing in their hot pools over winter. But as a result of this, a consortium of Japanese zoos has got together and runs annually a capybara longest in the spa competition. And it's always won by a female capybara. Female capybaras are always like the top 20. And like the most recent winner was Umi, a 1-year-old female, who stayed in the hot pool for 4 hours, 56 minutes and 32 seconds.
And when she came out, she was perfectly medium rare.
She was given a
Sous vide.
trophy. Well, going with her was a trophy, bitter oranges, broccoli, and pomelos. So, I mean,
Lovely
capybara
snacks.
plus all that sounds like a square meal. And yeah, and it's a huge tourist attraction. People gather around to see capybaras doing not very much in the pool.
Japan just nails entertainment, eh?
Yeah.
Oh,
They've got it.
Ninja Warrior, capybaras having a bath, love it.
MXC.
Was her name Ume, like UME?
With an I, U-M-I.
Oh, damn it.
I mean,
Because UME is a Japanese plum and they're often pickled. So that would have been, she would have been a little pickled plum.
Aw.
cute.
Jen, can I have another fact?
You can have a fact. Who's the soggiest bishop in the House of Lords?
The
that's
soggiest
gonna be-
bishop.
That's got to be Soggy Bishop Barry, isn't it?
I
Soggy
reckon.
Bishop Barry.
I reckon this is a Bath thing as well. I reckon there's like some bishop who's from Bath, and all your facts are going to be about Bath, Jen.
He's twice as soggy as a bishop of Bath.
What?
Double bath.
Mm.
He is the Bishop of Bath and Wells.
Hey.
That's great.
There's another town in Somerset which is famous for its water features, which is Wells. And
Can you
it's
say
famous for
all-
having.
Can you say all this in a West Country accent?
I can try and shame my forebears.
Thank you.
There is a town in Somerset which is famous for having wells, and they're sacred to Saint Andrew. That's getting really bad. Sorry. So yeah, there's a town called Wells, and then obviously there's a city called Wells because it's got a cathedral, and then there's Bath, and the bishop of that area is the Bishop of Bath and Wells.
That's so good.
That was just Jen's ancestors from the Olduvai Gorge. Hello there. We have invented fire.
Boyer.
You can't read.
And then the people of the next town are like, no, you haven't. They're just constantly putting it out.
That's our fire.
You say that, but they can read and they can't write, but they can drive a tractor.
Don't talk about tractors. You get in trouble in the House of Commons for looking at pictures of tractors.
Mm.
Oh, God.
What?
Do we ever?
Oh, an MP got caught looking at porn, and his excuse was that he was looking at pictures of tractors and accidentally clicked on the wrong link and ended up looking at porn.
Samuel Smith.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay. we're going to go on a bit of a journey here because I found it quite difficult to find facts about hot tubs. So strap in. Right. You may know of the movie Wet Hot American Summer.
I do.
It is a great movie. It stars basically everyone. Paul Rudd, Bradley Cooper, Elizabeth Banks, Janine Garofalo, a bunch of famous comedy people. Also John Benjamin, heaps of people. It was made in 2001. They also released a prequel to that in 2015, where all those actors played the younger versions of themselves. And it's great. It's fantastic. So I thought, wet, hot. That's good. We've got the hotness in there already. I found out another fact about the movie is that one of the DVD commentary tracks on it is just farts. So that's great. That's a bonus fact. Second bonus fact is the camp where they filmed. Hank Azaria from The Simpsons fame and other things, he went to that summer camp. That was his summer camp where they made the movie about it. That's another bonus fact. But then I was like, I've got the hot part of this stuff. I need to figure out how to relate this back to pools. So I Googled Wet Hot American Summer Pool, and I found out there's this band called Love Hate Hero who are from Los Angeles. They had a tour called the Wet Hot American Summer Tour, and their tour photo is a picture of them jumping into a pool. Thank you so much for listening. The only thing I heard when I said that was my cat meowing.
So I'm writing notes for all of these, and I have no idea where I'm supposed to start.
So my fact is, Wet Hot American Summer inspired a band to jump into a pool. Hot pool. Thank you so much.
Right.
I think there was the Gruffalo involved as well.
Janine Garofalo.
Yeah.
She's the one with big prickly purple thorns on her back.
Jen Jewell.
My next fact is about New Zealand hot pools, and it is that Rotorua is so oriented around hot pools that you can set your watch by them, and then one of their main streets is oriented by them.
Whoa. Are we allowed to say oriented? I think you're meant to say Asian.
Occidents.
Well, it's not anymore. Accidents do happen. So it's not anymore. Right. So the second part of that is more true than the first part. So Fenton Street, which is one of the major, Rotorua's got quite a nice grid system in its kind of central city. And Fenton Street, which is one of the main streets, it used to be that when you would drive up Fenton Street towards Te Puia, you would see is it the Pohutu geyser? Yeah, Pohutu geyser, which blows about 20 times a day, and it's the largest geyser in the Southern Hemisphere.
Sounds like your mum.
It was right at the end of Fenton Street as you drove from Lake Rotorua towards Te Puia. But then they did lots of landscaping and things built up around Te Puia, and the trees grew back, and now you can't see it anymore, which is sad. At another thermal park, which is Waiotapu, there is the Lady Knox geyser. I never know if it's geyser or geyser. Anyway, and it goes off every single day.
I'm a geezer. All right, love. I'm a geezer. And a geyser's like a...
The geyser
can you do that again?
The geyser geyser goes off every day at almost exactly 10:15 in the morning. But that's because someone turns up 2 minutes beforehand and dumps a bunch of surfactant in it.
I was going to say, so you're saying that I can set my clock to just before 10:15?
Just before 10:15, yeah.
As long as someone's got enough soap to make that happen.
Yeah. And from having been there, it literally looks like they just get a bunch of washing crystals and pour them in. They put it in a nice little like woven kite and stuff, so it looks, like traditional Maori.
As the Maori used to do, they'd drop washing soda into the pools.
Just yeet a bunch of Persil in it. It's traditional.
Sam.
Hello.
On another fact.
Did you know that Wet Hot American Summer was released the same day as Donnie Darko, which was...
Not in the same year.
Same year, 19th of January, 2001. And I'm going to relate this to pools as well. It was the same day that El Chapo was finally captured. And
the Mexican drug lord?
The Mexican drug lord, that's right. Yes, join with me. This is a fun journey we're going on. And I'm going to relate this to pools because his escape tunnel from his house was underneath his hot tub. You lift it up and then you hide away in your escape tunnel underneath it. So,
but also it'd be really obvious.
Why wasn't that your fact?
It was. I had to go there to get there.
You didn't have to. You could have just gone, El Chapo's escape hatch was under his hot tub.
But I feel like there's a reason people normally use bookcases rather than hot tubs, because you can see really easily when someone tips a hot tub up on its side, all the water comes out. It's kind of a giveaway.
Also, you need to be Superman to lift up a hot tub full of water. But then El Chapo was like fully coked up, so he could have lifted a whole hot tub. He would have been fine.
Oh yeah, this is a pro El Chapo podcast. I think we can all agree on that.
Friend of the podcast, El Chapo.
Friend of the podcast, El Chapo.
Nathan Kenny, I want another fact.
So, have you guys heard why you're not allowed to put your head underwater at hot pools?
Yeah, because people keep drowning me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know.
So that's why I'm not allowed to put your head underwater at the hot pools.
So,
Thank you.
there are amoeba that can grow in hot water. And if you go to the wrong hot pool at the wrong time, these amoeba might be there in quite large quantities, and they can get in through your nose and through your ears, and they can and do rot your brain. They can give you encephalitis and kill you.
So I have a question about this though, because I've always heard that it was through your ears or through your nose, but I looked on the Ministry of Health website and our equivalent of the CDC, CSRI. That sounds right. And they say it's only nasal cavities. It's not your ears.
Yeah, it makes more sense. It's way easier to get in through there than these things which are far away and sort of they finish quite far out, but your nose goes all the way up into
they're sealed.
Right up your brain.
Your ears are sealed as well. Like they have a drum, and
things can still go through that.
Probably not as easily as through there.
It's like a straight thing up into your brain. Yeah.
Also, the symptoms are really similar to COVID. Change in taste or smell, followed by headache and fever, with an incubation period of 3 to 7 days.
Whoa.
There were only 8 fatal cases between 1968 and 1970, and then 1 further death in 2000. So only 9 cases recorded in New Zealand.
So if we want to get a week off work, we can just put our head underwater at a spa.
3 quick facts from the quickest fact of them all, the quickest fact hunter of them all, Sam Smith. Please.
Oh, God. Okay. In 2016, a man called Colin Scott, he won the Darwin Award. He went to the Pork Chop Geyser at Yellowstone. During a lightning storm, he sort of walked away from the track, and he there's this thing called hot potting that people do, where you go and you hang out in a hot pool for a bit. He fell into one, and it was very acidic and hot, and he died, of course. But when they finally managed to get to him, all that was left was his wallet and jandals.
It was like a viral ad campaign for his wallet and jandal maker.
Yeah, that's right.
Kenny.
So there is a place in California called Desert Hot Springs, and this is very apposite when you think of all of the wink wink nudge nudge stories about hot springs and what goes on in them. It's the place in California that has the most registered sex offenders per so it's got 90 sex offenders to just over 20,000 people. It's got 3 registered sex offender homes, and I don't know what to make of this. 1 school.
Jewell, last fact.
Right. When you search for hot pools in Rotorua, New Zealand's thermal capital, the first result in Google is secret spot hot tubs Rotorua. Having recently been to Rotorua, I can also confirm that there is prominent motorway-based signage for secret spot hot tubs.
And you guys still can't find it.
I hear if you touch the secret spot, the geyser goes off.
If you put enough surfactants in it.
Time for one more little quick fact.
Yeah.
Let me tell a little fact.
So in Fukushima, yes, that Fukushima, there is a race course. And in that race course, there is a giant horse-sized spa pool, natural hot springs. And after the horses do their race, they all get a nice little bath in the hot springs.
Cute!
And they probably glow in the dark as well. But yeah, so Japan, home of hot springs for all manner of beasts.
I have one more very quick fact as well. Arguably one of the world's most famous geothermal hot pools is the Blue Lagoon in Iceland, and it's actually runoff from the next door hydrothermal plant.
Oh,
That's
that's
cool.
very
It's really
good.
beautiful and lovely, but it is just runoff from the hydrothermal plant next
I
door.
really thought you were going to say like the nuclear power station next to it, which would have been amazing.
This was a great round, guys. Very, very good facts from all of you, especially Sam, but especially Sam. Do love the random sex offenders. I can't really give the win to sex offenders, nor can I. I'd love the Capybara Hot Springs. That's also very good. I wanted to see them in the monkeys fight. I enjoyed your fact, Jen, about the 10-15 guys up, partly because you also tried to give us directions as to where it was on what is mostly an audio medium, and so that was very fun to watch. This is gonna be difficult. The Kenny with the amoeba and the brains, that's good. Cadillac.
No, it's not. That was the point. It's
It
bad.
was not good. Depends on how we all want to get out of work. Okay. I tell you, here's the thing. I'm going to give it to someone who might bring tourism to New Zealand and spark more search for those missing pink and white terraces. Sam Smith, I'm going to give it to you for the extremophile facts, because I do love extremophiles, and actually I didn't know that. I had no idea about the center and the pink and white terraces, so you got one on me, my buddy.
Thank you, Tom. What a huge honor for me to be the best at hot pools.
Thank you all so much for listening in to this big fact hunt about hot pools. Maybe you could go out and find a big fact hunt for a hot pool of your own. Don't buy them. Steal them from the nearest millionaire in your area, maybe Russian. But if you liked what we talked about, if you've got any facts of your own, if you've got a story about a hot pool that is okay to post on YouTube, feel free to put that in the comments below. Follow us all on our Twitter handles, which can be found below our faces. Or if you're listening to us on the podcast medium, go into the show notes. Love you all. See you next time.
Bye.